So everybody, welcome to the Pull-Up Show. I'm your host, Mr. BJ Matthews, aka B Jizzle.
And it's your co-host, Rick Masters. Y'all know who it is. Hope y'all doing good out there.
Yes, sir. Back with another show. Before we get started, follow our social media, Instagram at B Jizzle, my B Jizzle, BJIZZLLE. Follow us on my Facebook page, BJ Matthews. Follow us on YouTube and Spotify page, Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Go get me your social media, bro.
Hey, man, y'all know who it is. Rick Masters at Rick Masters 23. And y'all can find me on as Mr. Lee as well on Instagram. Rick Masters on every other platform. Back to you, B Jizzle.
Yes, sir. Back with another subject. You know what I'm saying? A couple good ones for y'all. We're going to talk about a team that still gets kind of overlooked, even though as far as they went in the playoffs last season. We're going to talk about the Phoenix Suns, the team out west in the Valley. JaVale McGee, their new acquired center, has some comments about Chris Paul, basically saying that he believes that Chris Paul can lead the Phoenix Suns to the finals yet again this season, even with all the teams healthy. So, Rick, let me ask you a question. Do you feel like the Phoenix Suns have been overlooked? And do you think that JaVale McGee is correct that he said Chris Paul can lead back to the finals this season? Let me hear you.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that the Phoenix Suns overall have been overlooked. I just think that, you know, when you going against teams nowadays like a Lakers or a Nets or the Clippers, you know, when you got a lot of these teams that are kind of built up, stacked up, strong, I can see how the perception is that maybe a team like the Phoenix Suns can be overlooked. But I just think, honestly, the reason why it may seem that way collectively as a NBA, you know, fan or coach or people like us that watch the game, what I mean by that, you know, when you think of teams like, let's say, the Pelicans, you know, you got Zion Williamson just looking like a grown man against grown men. Like, it's just crazy how explosive and how strong and powerful and how unstoppable he is and how he moves people out the way, kind of looking like a baby Shaq back in the day, you know, just smaller. You know, also, if you think about the Chicago Bulls, you know, I wouldn't say, you know, they're overlooked, you know, but I think they are explosive when you have a lot of those players that move pretty fast offensively and can dunk over people. I mean, I think just overall, when you have teams like the Lakers and, like I said, the Nets, and you got the Clippers, and, you know, most of your stars that you love and know are usually on one team nowadays. And so a lot of people focus more on teams that have more of the star output, you know, kind of like the Golden State Warriors when KD went there. Then you had Thompson, then you had, you know what I'm saying, you had this is back in the days when they had Andre Iguodala, Green, like that mean collective team, you know what I'm saying, Steph Curry. So I think I wouldn't say that the Phoenix Suns were like somewhat looked over. I just maybe would say that they probably weren't as exciting as a lot of other teams. But also, to go with JaVale McGee's comments, no, I don't think Chris Paul can really do it, man. I think, honestly, to be fair to Chris Paul, I think he just didn't get hurt. I mean, I'm just trying to be real here. I feel like if a lot of teams didn't get hurt this past season during the playoffs, I honestly don't really see, you know, the Phoenix Suns really moving that far. I mean, let's be clear, you know, if you got, you know, LeBron at 100%, Anthony Davis at 100%, you know, just really playing at their best without being injured. I didn't see him beating the Lakers this past season in the playoffs. But I think, you know, because he took care of himself, that's why I said I'm going to defend him. He did take the responsibility to take care of himself, make sure he was healthy, you know, rested his body when he needed to. So he prevailed. He got to the finals. So you can't take that away from the man. But as far as JaVale McGee's thoughts, I'm going to have to disagree with him, man, because I think people getting hurt played a big role in why they even went so far. But what you think?
So I got to go through a few key points. First off, dealing with JaVale McGee's comment, I do believe they can be back to the finals, but it's a slim chance. But this is what I will say. Chris Paul is the difference maker. He's the X factor to that team because just look at the teams that in the West Coast, you know, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Jazz, and the Nuggets are teams that can give the Phoenix Suns a run for their money, can also defeat them in the playoffs. So if you look through all four of those teams, starting with the Lakers, who they defeated, when Chris Paul came back after that Game 3 victory by the Lakers after they dominated them, the Lakers really didn't have much to answer for that. Even though AD did get hurt, I believe the Suns were a better fully team last season in the playoffs. I feel like they were younger, more athletic, better outside shooting. I believe that they had the best leader on the court was Chris Paul, man on a mission. Even though I do believe the Lakers, if they were fully strength, it would have been a better fight. But I do think the Suns just had their number in the playoffs. And I just feel like, the youth played a big factor in why they, lost that series. The Clippers, a team I feel like the Suns were not better than, for the simple fact that you had 3 of your starters out once again, and you still took you 6 games to finish them off. And the Clippers actually beat the Suns 2-1 in the season series. And if Kawhi was healthy, if Serge Ibaka was playing, and Victor Zubac was playing, I believe it would have been a lot of the same outcome as the season series. Going back to the Lakers again, I do believe they would put up a better fight, but the Lakers are an older team, and just by that series they lost to the Phoenix Suns. I just think the Suns had their number. Now this season, I think the Lakers will be better than the Suns. But last season, the playoffs, I would give the edge to the Suns. The Utah Jazz, I feel like they're more of a seasoned team. I think the Suns can defeat them in the playoffs. I think that it will be kind of a nip and tuck between Donovan Mitchell and Devin Booker. But the difference is I think Chris Paul, once again, is going to be a person that has been deeper in the playoffs than a Mike Conley or anybody else in the Utah Jazz. But I think the Suns can beat the Jazz. Now, the team I feel like we got to really watch is the Denver Nuggets, because they got fully constrained and they got all the pieces. They got Jamal Murray coming back at that point guard position. They're going to be a problem against anybody in the West, anybody in the league. They have all the pieces as a great team. They have shooters. They have long athletes. They got Jokic, who's the MVP. They got Jamal Murray as a point guard, great coach, chemistry. The Nuggets, they'll be a team to be fighting for. But I think the Suns can really beat any team, have a fighting chance to beat any team in the West, and therefore in the league. What else you got to say about that?
Look, again, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to make it seem like they don't have a chance, but they don't have a chance, all right? I mean, look, again, all this is subjective. I mean, I just, as you feel strongly about what you think, I feel strongly about what I think as well. I just really feel that if guys were just at 100%, even in these past playoffs, I just really can't fathom the Phoenix Suns in the finals. I mean, man, I can't imagine, like I said, 100% Anthony Davis, because a lot of people forget when he was with the Pelicans, he was a one-man army. Then when he got with the Lakers, of course, you got LeBron as your right-hand man, just doing what LeBron does. And I'm not even talking about the rest of the roster that the Lakers have, because that's, like I said, we already know that's like fantasy world. That's an all-star team. But it's like, in my mind, I'm like, if they were 100%, I just can't see a 36-year-old Chris Paul overtaking a Goliath of a team like the Lakers. I mean, I can't see it. It's like literally the Lakers had to have gotten hurt the way they did just for Chris Paul to do what he did. Because my thing is, Anthony Davis, in my opinion, he has a better resume, but I just feel like even as a player up against, what's the young center's name that plays for Phoenix?
Devin Booker or DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah. Like I like his game. To me, he's a traditional center, but it's just that to me, Lakers, Anthony could do so much more. Like Davis could just do so much more. Like you have to really watch what he's doing. Can't leave him open on the 3-point line. You got to watch who you're coming off of screens, because he can either pass the ball or take it back kind of like Tim Duncan and shoot a pop, like a little 15, 18 footer. He could get to the basket. I think people kind of underrate his handling ability as a 6'11" postman. And it's just like, at 100%, this man is dumb, explosive, and super fast. So look, I love Chris Paul. I watched him play his entire 16 seasons. I know what he's capable of as an individual. But far as a team sport goes, man, Chris Paul ain't beating 100% nobody. That's just how I feel.
Good point, because we got to also talk about some of his failures. You know what I mean? Like, this is the same dude that let, the Clippers with Lob City, they were supposed to go to the Western Conference Finals, and they were supposed to be this great team, and then never got to the big stage. And, it was under Chris Paul's watch, being the prime player on that Clippers team. And then, you talk about the Houston Rockets. They never got past, the Warriors. Even one season he did get hurt. They still didn't get past him the second season. They actually got beat in, I think, 6 games. So it was even worse the second time. So, I mean, I don't know. I think Chris Paul, great Hall of Fame player. And I do also think that, he's the ultimate leader. He's the ultimate general. And I think the last year that man was on a mission for what he did against my Clippers in Game 6. The man was on a mission. And I could see why JaVale McGee would say, look, we got a guy who has been through everything. And last season they didn't get the job done. It only made him even more stronger and wiser. So that's what we have on our team. And yeah, they're gonna be a good team. The Suns gonna be very good with JaVale McGee and Landry Shamet as new acquisitions. But